Watch out for this absolute phenomenon under center. His raw, jaw-dropping talent practically forces franchises to declare him their ultimate cornerstone of the future. Yet, this warrior breaks the mold completely. While no Lamar Jackson, his terrifying skill set comes close. Still, destiny rarely follows the script. Phenoms crash into the pros, riding massive waves of hype, only to stumble early and get ruthlessly branded as total failures. Then, miraculously, an athlete secures a spectacular shot at redemption in the perfect environment, sparking an epic rebirth. This is the wild Malik Willis saga, enduring life as a collegiate benchwarmer, tumbling terribly down, scouting lists, and clashing with pro defenses. This prospect appeared doomed to be just another tragic tale of wasted potential. Yet, an unbelievable rebirth in Green Bay sparked a jaw-dropping explosion on the absolute grandest stage, instantly transforming him into the absolute most captivating field general, entering the spring of 2026. Now, clutching a monstrously lucrative Miami Dolphins contract, he wields the ultimate golden ticket to cement his starting reign. What exactly triggered this astonishing leap from a discarded afterthought to Miami's glorious, high-priced cornerstone? Unraveling this unbelievable odyssey requires a massive rewind. Our hero initially showcased his raw power at Westlake High in Atlanta, before executing a strategic leap to Roswell High. In that epic finale, he launched for 2,500 yards, ran for 1,000, and tallied 37 scores. The truly mind-blowing twist: this teenage phenom was commanding an offense from under center for the very first time ever. Defying his sheer inexperience, this fearless prodigy still dragged Roswell to a spectacular state championship showdown. Exiting the prep circuits, scouts slapped a modest 3-star label on his profile, cementing his status as merely the 59th premier athlete. Initially pledging absolute loyalty to Virginia Tech, he eventually orchestrated a massive, shocking pivot to the Auburn Tigers. The ultimate catalyst behind abandoning the Hokies? Their absolutely insulting desire to stick this offensive maestro on defense. Conversely, Auburn offered an irresistible, glorious oath, the sacred keys to unleash absolute hell as their passing commander. He survived 2017 and 2018 at Auburn, battling in 15 games without once sniffing the primary throne. Forced to watch Jarrett Stidham monopolize the coveted leadership role, our explosive weapon was severely restricted to mere cameo appearances during gimmick-driven scenarios. Across 15 games, he managed 11 completions on 14 attempts for 69 measly yards and a solitary strike, though his legs proved far more lethal, shredding turf for 309 rushing yards and 2 magnificent scores. Yet, even after Stidham departed following 2 grueling years, he remained shut out from the starting gig. By 2019, nursing the devastating blow of dropping a fierce roster war against Joey Gatewood and Bo Nix, he engineered a desperate escape to liberty. Tragically, the incredibly strict collegiate transition regulations slammed the brakes on his momentum, forcing a miserable year-long exile for 2019. Marching fiercely into the 2020 crucible, a high-stakes gladiator clash erupted against Chris Ferguson. Emerging victorious, our hero seized the Week 1 crown. Baptized by fire against Kentucky, they orchestrated a stunning 30-24 miracle. While his aerial assault sputtered, managing a meager 133 passing yards, his legs proved utterly devastating, carving up the earth for 168 rushing yards and a trio of brilliant scoring plunges. Then came Week 6, an absolute volcanic eruption. During that spectacular bloodbath, he launched a terrifying aerial barrage, exceeding 300 yards in 6 strikes, while punishing defenders with 97 ground yards and another score. As the dust finally settled, he sensationally dragged the Flames to a glorious 9-1 standing, rapidly transforming into the most terrifying dual-threat monster sweeping the collegiate landscape. Capping off his breathtaking inaugural voyage as an undisputed collegiate commander, he amassed 2,200 yards, 20 soaring touchdowns, 944 rushing yards, and 14 brutal ground scores. This sheer dominance earned him the prestigious Dudley Award, crowning him the undisputed king of Virginia football. Snatching the Cure Bowl MVP trophy was just the appetizer. His reign of terror spectacularly bled into 2021, driving the squad to an 8-5 standing, and culminating in a ruthless Lending Tree Bowl slaughter where he captured yet another glorious MVP honor. Entering his sophomore campaign commanding the Flames, his statistical output absolutely exploded into an entirely new stratosphere. He mercilessly torched secondaries for 2,800 yards and 27 strikes. Meanwhile, his terrifying legs obliterated defensive fronts for 878 yards and 13 rushing plunges. Following an absolutely legendary 2-year crusade as the ultimate collegiate field general, the professional big leagues were loudly calling his name, Pundits everywhere relentlessly trashed the 2022 prospect pool, overwhelmingly labeling it a pathetic, talent-starved year. This supposedly cursed selection of collegiate arms featured the rather questionable talents of Matt Corral, Sam Howell, and Desmond Ridder, yet the sharpest scouting minds alive adamantly declared that the ultimate, undisputed titans of this deeply flawed group were exclusively him and Kenny Pickett. Truthfully, a massive horde of talent evaluators genuinely swore this phenomenal athlete possessed a terrifyingly astronomical ceiling, completely unmatched by any peer. An anonymous passing guru boldly proclaimed that merely a single prospect possessed legitimate, terrifying professional traits. Emphasizing his lethal capability to both scorch the turf and detonate the sky, this coach praised a generational, awe-inspiring cannon of an arm. Not exactly the legendary Josh Allen, but lingering frighteningly nearby. A rival executive flat-out crowned him the absolute monarch of the entire prospect pool, whereas a prominent offensive mastermind swore he was the sole gunslinger remotely worthy of breathing round one air. Naturally, paralyzing doubts fiercely lingered. Coming from Liberty, skeptics loudly predicted an absolutely brutal, agonizing acclimation period stepping into the professional Shark Tank. Furthermore, the incredibly weak caliber of his collegiate adversaries fueled terrified whispers that his jaw-dropping highlight reel simply wouldn't survive the vicious speed of the big leagues. Even under the crushing weight of those screaming red flags, this explosive dynamo remained widely worshipped as an absolute premier diamond within the 2022 draft. The league practically rolled out the red carpet, inviting him directly to the glamorous Sin City stage, a majestic privilege strictly hoarded for guaranteed top-tier superstars. Unfortunately, crystal balls often shatter. The opening round vanished without his name echoing through the speakers. Then, his agonizing freefall continued as the entire second phase passed him by completely. Salvation finally arrived in round 3. The Tennessee Titans boldly leaped up the draft board, brokering a blockbuster deal alongside Las Vegas to snatch him and shatter his torturous limbo. He emerged as the third signal caller claimed during that monumental event, falling squarely behind Kenny Pickett, a premier opening round talent, alongside Desmond Ridder, who heard his name called exactly 12 slots prior to this explosive playmaker. Following the massive acquisition, Tennessee mastermind John Robinson praised the prospect's absolute cannon, raw athleticism, and uniquely fluid mobility inside the pocket. Praised as an elusive target wielding incredible arm talent, he still needed tremendous refinement. The selection was finalized. His grueling professional odyssey had officially ignited. The rookie campaign commenced under the shadow of Ryan Tannehill, the established maestro leading the franchise for 3 consecutive seasons. Suddenly, a shocking opportunity materialized. Fast forward to week 7, a devastating illness struck down the veteran leader, instantly thrusting the untested rookie into the scorching spotlight against the Houston Texans. In that vicious battle, he secured 6 of 10 strikes for 55 yards, suffered 1 brutal interception, and violently scrambled for 12 rushing yards. Those metrics hardly painted a picture of offensive dominance, yet miraculously, the gritty Tennessee squad clawed their way toward a thrilling victory anyway. Just 7 days later, the rookie faced his sophomore test under the blinding primetime lights, clashing with the monstrous Kansas City Chiefs inside a deafening Arrowhead Stadium. The nightmare unfolded as he connected on a mere 5 of 16 throws for 80 meager yards, adding 40 on the ground. Tennessee ultimately collapsed 20-7 in a grueling overtime war. Predictably, the absolute second the veteran commander healed up and returned to the helm, the struggling rookie was banished straight back to the desolate shadows of the bench. His next taste of warfare remained elusive until week 16, staging a dramatic rematch against Houston only because a shattered ankle completely sidelined their starting general. Tragically, that collision course resulted in another agonizing disaster. The battered playmaker closed the afternoon holding 99 pitiful passing yards, connecting on 14 out of 23 desperate attempts, tossing 2 catastrophic picks, though he valiantly scrambled for 43 yards and violently pounded the rock across the goal line for his inaugural professional score. Nevertheless, the squad perished 19-14. Concluding his turbulent freshman campaign, the battered warrior managed to connect on a dismal 50% of his aerial strikes, compiling 276 passing yards and 0 scoring strikes against 3 brutal interceptions, while grinding out 123 rushing yards and a single rushing triumph. Heading into his sophomore chapter in 2023, the struggling prospect essentially vanished. Management aggressively acquired Will Levis during the second phase, a rising star who ultimately seized control of countless matchups alongside the aging veteran, brutally demoting our protagonist to the absolute bottom of the depth chart. His solitary moment of glory that entire calendar erupted during Week 6 against Baltimore, firing 4 laser completions for 70 yards after the starting general faced a humiliating benching. As the dawn of the 2024 crusade approached, the writing was carved in stone. The franchise was charging forward into battle with Levis locked in as their supreme commander. Furthermore, having secured the battle-tested veteran Mason Rudolph to fortify the essential secondary ranks behind their franchise savior, the former prodigy was unceremoniously exiled to irrelevance. Then, amid the chaotic August cuts of 2024, Green Bay executed a stunning heist, shipping a 7th-round asset for him. The legendary regime had just utterly purged their existing understudies, terminating the very players who had waged a brutal, summer-long war for that exact roster spot. Yet those candidates completely failed to ignite any spark. In a flash, a discarded afterthought transformed into the primary insurance policy for a historic powerhouse revered for forging phenomenal passers. Before this incredible saga rages onward, I am calling on you to dedicate 5 seconds to smash that like button, lock in your subscription, and absolutely flood the algorithm with hype. We are aggressively hunting down 20,000 loyal warriors before this current calendar year violently concludes. We are crashing straight into 17,000. Yet a shocking 13% of viewers have actually joined the revolution. Stand with the movement, back the vision, and supercharge our unstoppable rise. Enough talk, let us plunge straight back into the madness. The reborn quarterback barely had time to blink before he was violently hurled into the fires of Green Bay. During the opening weekend massacre, their majestic franchise star, Jordan Love, sustained a catastrophic ligament sprain, guaranteeing a devastating absence from the gridiron. This horrifying twist crowned our underdog, the supreme commander, for Week 2. He delivered an absolute masterpiece, 12 flawless strikes for 122 yards, launching his first ever passing score in a gutsy 16-10 triumph. 7 days later, the ultimate revenge script materialized, leading his new brotherhood directly into the hostile territory of his former Tennessee captors. He unleashed his most spectacular performance yet. The vengeful warrior detonated for 202 passing yards and a majestic aerial strike, while absolutely torching the turf for 73 rushing yards and a sensational ground coronation. Deeper into the bitter war, during a knife fight Week 8 clash with Jacksonville, their recovering superstar tore a groin muscle. Once again, the ultimate insurance policy sprinted out to shift the tectonic plates. He instantly hurled a magnificent scoring missile and orchestrated a legendary marching assault, highlighted by a breathtaking 51-yard bomb to Jaden Reed that perfectly staged the buzzer-beating kick. Authentic battlefield action evaded him again until a colossal Week 18 showdown with Chicago, where he viciously carved up the opposition, landing 10 of 13 lethal shots for 136 yards. Concluding a cinematic third professional chapter, the reborn gunslinger amassed 550 glorious passing yards alongside 3 spectacular aerial triumphs, tossing absolutely 0 turnovers, bulldozing his way to 138 rushing yards and a ground score, ultimately achieving a flawless 2-0 record starting under center. Entering 2025 as the terrifying secondary weapon, he finally earned a quiet offseason to obsessively dissect the schematic warfare and forge an unbreakable brotherhood with his elite battalion. He remained a lethal ghost until Week 11, storming the field during a terrifying medical scare to immediately fire off a touchdown sniper shot, right before the resilient starter charged back into the fray. Roughly 4 brutal weeks later, a catastrophic concussion permanently shattered the starter's night against the savage Chicago defense, violently hurling the mighty backup straight into the crossfire once more. Amidst the carnage, the substitute commander racked up 121 throwing yards, securing a score while tearing off 44 ground yards, instantly earning him a monumental start the following Sunday. This terrifying clash marked his inaugural start of the 2025 crusade, and it rapidly morphed into the absolute zenith of his career. He obliterated the defense with 288 passing yards, a brilliant aerial strike, and 60 crushing rushing yards for twin scores. Despite the heartbreaking defeat, the dynamic phenomenon broadcasted his terrifying lethality to the entire league. Astonishingly, he successfully connected on 6 out of 7 devastating deep bombs launched 20 or more yards into the stratosphere. He matched Aaron Rodgers' legendary deep ball record for Green Bay, hitting a milestone unseen since tracking began in 2006. The entire country witnessed this phenomenal coming-out party under the bright lights. Tragically, agonizing right shoulder pain forced him off the turf. This haunting ache originated during their prior Chicago clash, compounding the misery of a severe sickness that sidelined him from practice days before. We never witnessed him step foot on the gridiron again that year, yet his explosive showcase put the entire league on notice. Overnight, this dynamic passer evolved into the 2026 offseason's ultimate prize. Accepting a permanent shadow role behind Jordan Love simply was not happening. Riding a massive wave of undeniable hype, his destiny was set. The open market would absolutely offer him a ferocious battle for a franchise's main helm. Rumors swirled wildly around several desperate franchises, linking him heavily to Minnesota, Arizona, New York, and Pittsburgh. Ultimately, Miami secured his signature, forging a 3-year, $67,500,000 pact shortly after Tua's shocking exit. This blockbuster acquisition possessed impeccable, undeniable logic. Miami's newly appointed commander, Jeff Hafley, previously orchestrated Green Bay's defensive unit. Furthermore, they installed John Eric Sullivan at the top executive helm, poaching the man who masterminded Green Bay's roster. Deep-rooted trust already existed uniting this fresh brass, the sidelines, and their newly minted gunslinger. Bobby Slowick seized the offensive reins, arriving with baggage after guiding C.J. Stroud's magnificent rookie campaign before suffering a completely devastating collapse and termination in Houston during year 2. South Beach executives desperately pray this strategist can unlock his ultimate form. Armed with lethal weapons like lightning-fast Jalen Waddle and the unstoppable backfield force of Devon Achane, who absolutely terrorized rival defenses all year long. Still, this franchise demands severe reinforcements across every single unit to properly shield their prized investment. Initially branded a raw gamble, his turbulent Tennessee tenure nearly derailed his professional dreams, threatening to banish him permanently to the darkest, forgotten depths of an obscure scout team. However, escaping to Wisconsin sparked a miraculous rebirth. Thriving within a brilliant tactical scheme, his swagger returned with a vengeance, perfectly preparing him for his eventual moment. Surrounded by brilliance, he finally unleashed the spectacular superstar traits that once made him the absolute jewel of the 2022 draft. Now, the ambitious Dolphins are heavily wagering their entire franchise's future on his electrifying ceiling. Constructing a lethal blueprint tailored to his incredible athleticism could forever shatter the unfair narrative that he remains merely an unpolished, unfinished experiment. He is a bona fide gridiron king. Massive appreciation for watching until the very end and supporting the Casual Football Hub, the ultimate destination for everyday diehards to dissect the league. Smash that like button, join our ranks, and spread the fire. We need your fierce support to conquer our 20,000 subscriber goal before this year officially concludes. Approaching 17,000 soon, so please rally behind us. Drop your fiery takes below. Your boy Cash is signing off. Stay epic, and I will see you on the next breakdown.